Hello, today is May 10th, 2025. As always, we'll do our disclaimer, we'll go over our calls, and then make our predictions. This is my trading plan for Monday. Monday is May 12th, 2025. Please remember, my plan can always change, my plan can always be wrong, and trade at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early high, which is this. Tends to be a rally day or have a straight line drop. That is your straight line drop. And when you get a straight line drop, the decline's not over. So we should decline further, even if we don't close lower on Monday. Time doesn't really run out until Monday's open, which can substitute for Friday's close. So if, for some reason, we gap, make a new high, like overtake this high with a sharp gap up on Monday, then that prediction's killed. But the way it is now, we don't do that. It should lead to lower prices even if we don't close lower. We had some targets. For some reason, I wrote them as occurring in April. Obviously, this is the month of May. I said they might not print, and they haven't. They didn't, but they should print at some time. So no matter how far we drop here, and we do have a new optional target of 56.50.36, which is likely but not required to print on Monday. At some point, we should trade higher regardless of how low we drop first. Well, this is a reminder of what we said. Now, we had mixed signals after Thursday's close. We said the commonest thing was a gap and a prompt move outside Thursday's range. That didn't happen. Next most common is close little change, big move the next day. But we closed little change down 4 points, which is 0.07%. So if this plays out, Monday's move should be a big move. Now these are the patterns I'm looking for next week. Monday's pattern has the early low, but the times don't always play out as neatly as I'd like them to at that day in the pattern. Monday is Carolan's F19. Now Thursday's high is within his range, so we have this calling for a large move, and we have a Carolan indicator compatible with a significant top in this area. This is one of the acceptable wave counts with a rising wedge, and that's also compatible with a significant high in this area. Now, until you break down, there's no signal and there's no guarantee it's the right count. I mean, we gap up here and keep moving, there's nothing. But if we do start down here, undercut this line, undercut this low, don't reverse it immediately, it should lead to lower prices. There's always a chance you come back up and hit this point. Can't be certain, but this is a market on the verge of breaking down significantly. Hasn't broken down yet. I mean, you can still kill the idea. You gap up, keep going up, we just get our erasers out, but this is really right on the edge. During the day, we got a buy signal. In the afternoon, there was an optional lower target. The buy signal obviously played out. The optional lower target is 56.50.36. It prints about 95% of the time on Monday. If not, we'll forget it. 95% isn't 100 for sure. But we have a lot of things that look pretty grim here. We stopped right at resistance. We stopped within Carolan's window for a top. The market almost always leaves some failed targets right at the highs or lows. It's it's not one of my rules, but it's a pattern that when you have a major change in trend, you should leave a failed target behind. We have an optional lower target. This pattern, if we don't gap up smartly, should lead to lower prices. We should start down hard and fast on Monday. Maybe you'll blip up a little bit first That doesn't change anything. But if we don't do that on Monday, then something else is going on. And if we do it, it could be a long way down. So Monday's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. Friday's pattern had a straight line drop, and unless invalidated by gapping and promptly overtaking the high a day, that should lead to lower prices regardless of where we close. There's an optional MEJT target at a lower price, which is highly likely, although not required, to print. Thursday's high was within Carol Ann's window for a change in trend date. Just a reminder, if there is a change in trend, it tends to be on one of his dates, but just because it's one of his dates, it doesn't mean there has to be a change in trend. There's a rising wedge, which is on the verge of breaking lower. All these things argue for a strong drop beginning right here, and if we don't break down hard and fast, I begin to lose confidence in that prediction. And if we gap and promptly overtake Friday's high, that kills the idea. I mean, you've got the perfect setup here. You got all your indicators. All you have to do is start dropping. And if we don't start dropping and something else is going on, the market surprised me before. It's always possible we gap and take out this high, keep going up, and the prediction's wrong. And we should know that probably before we open on Monday. But if that doesn't happen, everything points to a big drop starting right here, if you ask me. And that's today's call.